TLO, what's poppin'? We are on kick.com. We are live. Well, maybe by the time you see this, we won't be. So just leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK. This right here, if we go live and you miss it, this is when the highlights will be. Can I get over here? Yep. Don't forget we got merch. I got it on right now. You feel me? You get me? Even if you don't purchase, just click the link to check it out, man. I appreciate the eyes on it. Don't forget we do got the Patreon. This is where things go that we can't watch on YouTube. It's a more in-depth. It's a lot better shows. You feel me? Here's a list. Pause. Take a look. Think about it. And we got the Discord as well. This is the life story of Karl Pilkington. The link to all of those are down below in the description. It's click the thing that says Linktree and it'll all pop up. This is by Ben Hope. Okay.
Karl Pilkington is an idiot, a fool, an imbecile, a twit, a dope, a twat, a dummy, a goon, a dunce, a twonk. He's also a successful actor, presenter, writer, author, producer, and voice artist who is living amongst the elite.
I don't think he's a lot of those first things. He's not stupid, for sure. He's not an idiot, for sure. He monetized his way of life.
Which begs the question, who's the real idiot?
There we go.
Pilkington. Alright.
Karl Pilkington was born on the 23rd of September 1972 in Manchester.
Oh my God, that's my baby mama's birthday, September 23rd. Karl, why you do that to me?
During this time, the city was struggling to come to terms with economic hardship and decline, with regeneration efforts failing. Namely, the racecourse housing estate which Karl grew up on, which had been described as an island of deprivation in a sea of affluence. In the 1960s, when it was built, it was supposed to be the jewel in the crown of Manchester's council estate programme, but by the 1970s it was neglected, run down and rife with crime. Despite this bleak backdrop, Karl would humorously recall the eccentric characters whom lived on this estate whilst he was growing up.
Actually, now you brought up weird people. There was a fellow called Shorts Man, right?
It's so pedestrian. Oh, I love that.
Shorts man wore some shorts.
Now, what I like, yeah, he did, but they were really short. They were that sort where, you know, it's almost pointless having them on.
What do you mean?
They were just, you know, like shorts now for blokes, they go up to your knees, don't they? There's no chance, there's no accident happening there. There's nothing going to pop out.
Yeah. No.
But Shorts Man, he liked it. He liked the fact that happened. And he used to walk with big strides to sort of help the chance along. So that he knew, with the big strides and the
Short man, the PEDO.
shorts,
Yeah.
they were going to
That's
pop
what
out.
I'm getting out of
Pop
that.
out.
Yeah.
Why were you
everyone
looking at
did.
the shorts?
Just because it was like playing Buckaroo. It was like, when are they going to pop out?
But what?
It just
This is from the Ricky Gervais show. We did not see this episode.
So, right, but shorts man. So he was an exhibitionist. He liked basically what people to see his veg.
Yeah. And they were out more than they were in.
veg?
I mean, they had a tan, right? Now the thing is, you see, there was a woman on the estate who did use. Have I told you about Miss Peggy before?
No. It rings a bell. Go on.
I think I told you ages ago. It's this fat woman who used to be on the estate. She had a 3-wheeler bike. And her husband,
Push bike, pedal bike.
yeah, like a tricycle thing, but a big one.
Right.
She used to sit her husband in the basket in the back, cycle about. What have you.
Yeah.
She was known as Miss Piggy. The way she used to communicate, she used to always go in quick save and nick biscuits. And if anyone went up to her to say stop nicking the biscuits, she'd pull out like a little mirror out of a bag, and she'd look in it, but talk to you via the mirror. Here's something, right? The estate that I grew up on, there's a woman there.
Yeah.
Scruffy Sandra.
I like her already. Oh, it's great, isn't it?
One thing I noticed about the UK, it's not just Karl Pilkington. It's all of y'all. Y'all are very, like, minimal when it comes to, like, naming things. Like, y'all food, like, chips on like, chip buddy, literally, chips on buttered bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all simplify the hell out of stuff. Brown sauce instead of HP House of Parliament sauce. Red sauce instead of ketchup. Yes, beans on toast. Literally, beans on toast. Like, so Karl doing this is not a surprise. Yeah, it's like blunt. Yeah, there you go.
Descriptive.
Now-
She had no chance, even if she cleaned up her act.
Yeah.
She'd come in looking like Pretty Woman. You go, "All right, Scruffy."
No,
What's the point? What is the point?
So
Fucking
the
hell.
thing is, she used to always get on these buses called dialer rides that were sort of like posh taxis. You could call for one, it'd come round to your house,
Yeah.
and it would pick you up, and you'd pay like 50p.
But it
you
would
were
pick
like-
up a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah, on the way. So it would take ages
Oh,
to
what
get
a
to where you're
nightmare
going.
that is.
No, it's good though. It's kind of a bit of a day out. Old people used to love it because you just
Right.
get to see things.
Right.
And you'd hear a
We got those here.
call coming in on the radio that, Scruffy Sandra's being picked up, and you go, oh God. And she'd always have loads of bin bags with her for some reason. Now the thing is,
Well, she sounds clean.
she stunk.
Well, she's taken out the
Was
bin
she
bag,
homeless?
No, she wasn't homeless. No, she used to just didn't bath and that. She just stunk. But the weird thing is,
Why'd they call her Stinky Sandra?
she never.
She
Was
had a
ill.
beard.
Right.
People didn't sit next to her
Yeah.
because she stunk.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, anyone who might have had a bit of flu or a cold never sat next to Scruffy Sandra
Right.
because she stunk. But that
Never
was
got
good.
sick. That's
that was like
smart.
a protection thing for her because she knew that because she stunk, no one wants to sit
Oh my
next to
God.
her. She wouldn't pick up the germ.
Right.
I can't remember being a baby, and I put that down to it being boring.
Karl was the
My daughter is living the best life that she possibly can. My daughter be turned. So her baby is, it's different.
youngest born of Dorothy and Alan. Having two siblings 10 years his senior, his upbringing was more that of an only child, with a large age gap meaning he was never very close to his brother and sister. Despite the family's lack of money, his parents always did their best to provide a comfortable standard of living for the family, with his dad working various odd jobs to make ends meet. Karl's childhood was both humdrum and unusual. His countless stories of his childhood demonstrated that he was able to turn life's misfortunes into caricatures that provided a brief respite from his bleak surroundings.
A kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Whoa, Neddy. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he
believe
get a
it, right?
horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. But there was a magpie that used to fly about on the estate, and I managed to sort of tame it. And in the end,
With a chair and a whip? What do you mean you tamed it?
Well, just used to sort of hang around it and talk.
But how'd you
to
get
it.
hold of it? Did you catch it?
Well, eventually, yeah, it used to just come to me, and the annoying thing was, it got to a point when I wish I hadn't bothered, because it used to pop me bike tyres. It used to sit on like, if I was talking to my mates and I was on my grifter,
I love the way he just throws things in.
it landed on my tyre, and it used to peck at the time, pop it.
So what was that? A hummingbird or something? A woodpecker? See, I don't like birds. They seem conniving like that. You know what I'm
In the
saying?
late 70s, the UK was in the grips of the winter of discontent. Heavy snowfall coupled with widespread strikes by public and private sectors demanding a pay rise. But it was also during this time which marked the start of a more personal
This is Karl?
period of discontent for Karl.
Mrs. Matthews said I'd never be a high flyer.
For Karl, his time at school was something of an endurance test. Despite an earnest attempt
Hey! Stop! Stop! Oh man, that is funny. No, they didn't do bro like that. That's not real.
to pay attention and learn, the tedium of it all proved too much. With little interest in the taught curriculum, Karl was often absent, going off on holiday to Wales with his mum during the school term.
Yeah, I didn't go to school much because my mum and dad had a caravan.
Right.
And
No need, is there? No need when you've got that sort of fun at home.
I used to just go away for weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, honestly.
Where'd you used to go?
Port Maddock.
But
And so you didn't go to school much?
No, I did, but not as much as everyone else.
In 1988, Karl opted to leave school early in search of employment.
Why they got him with no teeth?
He was eager to get on with earning a living, and despite being young, Karl had an old head on his shoulders and a clear idea of what he needed to make it in life. He started work as a cassette and disc printer for a youth training scheme. In 1989, it was Karl's father who inadvertently provided an opportunity for Karl to get a start in radio. After his dad was ill and had to go through a procedure in hospital, Karl was inspired to pursue a job in broadcasting on the hospital's radio station.
When my mum was seeing my dad in the hospital, I got a bit bored, went for a wander, found the hospital radio station, and got a gig.
It was a move that he had not previously
nice.
contemplated, and yet it seemed strangely appropriate. A fortuitous moment that would spark the beginning of a successful career. Afterwards, Karl managed to get a job at Manchester's Piccadilly radio station, hosting a 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. show.
I worked somewhere once, right, Justin?
Go on, mate.
That was sort of run by gay people.
Go on.
I've got nothing against them, they're nice fellas and stuff.
Yeah.
But my mate
This is...
worked there for a little bit longer than I did.
Right, what happened? What happened to you?
Turned gay.
Oh my God.
Honestly, seriously, Justin, I'm not winding you up.
Seriously.
He was straight when I knew him.
Carl, I've told you before, it didn't turn me gay.
He's still.
I think it's like a day.
No. He sort of got into their lifestyle and was like, I'm into this.
So it can happen.
Their lifestyle.
Oh, it's outrageous. This is outrageous. Can you say where you worked? It wasn't XFM, was it? It's not XFM.
It's another radio station.
Right, okay, so you worked at another radio station. You had a mate there who was straight as they come.
Tell you what, right?
Go on, mate.
This is how bad it got there.
Right, go on.
It's called, I hope this doesn't get
Just say it, mate. Just don't worry about it.
The
Say it.
station's called Piccadilly.
Right.
Right, well, listen, it got nicknamed Pick-a-Willy.
It was also here
Hey! No way.
where Karl met his life partner, Suzanne Whiston.
How did you meet Suzanne?
That was when I was working with her, and she gave me 20p for the hot chocolate machine. She never asked for it back. Thought she's all right.
I remember that story.
In the mid-1990s, Karl was presented with an offer to take up a position as producer on the up-and-coming radio station XFM in London.
Best move
Manchester
he ever
had given
did.
Karl so much, yet so little, and he knew he had to leave his beloved hometown to further his career.
That's how it be, man. Hey, if you in your hometown city and you feel like you on the verge of an incline, eventually you're gonna reach a ceiling. Don't let the love for the ceiling stop your blessing. I mean, don't let the love of your city stop your blessings. You gotta move around, man. There's other things out there for you. Go catch your blessing somewhere else.
Little did he know this move would shape his future and open so many fascinating doors. Karl's time at XFM began with mundane tasks of monitoring sound levels and editing adverts. Then in August 2001, his life would begin to change as he was given the job of producer to newly returning presenters Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. Ricky and Steve had presented a regular show together for XFM from 1998 before their collaboration on the television sitcom The Office had started. Following the completion of the first series, they returned.
Why does this make Steve look so short? Steve is like 6'8", ain't he?
Presented a regular show together had started. Following the completion of the first series, they returned to work at XFM.
XFM 104.9, Dandy Warhol's Bohemian Like You. It's the Ricky Gervais show.
With Steve Merchant.
Yeah, exactly. And Carl, who's turned our microphones on.
After a period of working with Karl, Ricky quickly noticed something special about Karl's natural wit and affectionately dry delivery. It became clear to Ricky that Karl had something unique to offer, and so naturally he brought him on the air more often, allowing him to share his unique and humorous views with the listeners, with Karl soon becoming an unofficial third presenter.
One of his mates used to have a chimp.
Right. What do you mean one of his mates used to have a chimp?
Well, two of his mates. Mind you,
Oh,
one
sorry,
wasn't
yeah,
his mate, one wasn't his mate.
I was thinking it sounds a bit far-fetched living in Manchester, like. But if there was two of them...
He had a chimp. Had to thump it in the head.
For doing what? Answering back?
Ricky got one of the most contagious laughs known to mankind. It's so egregious. I don't even know if that's the right word to say, but it feels right.
Oh, God!
Tried it on with his wife. But I was on the train, right, coming from Manchester back to London, right?
Yeah.
And got on it. It was like a Friday night, and it was heaving, you know, like the last train is and all that, and absolutely chocker. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the carriages, thinking, oh, is he in his seats anyway? Anyway, everyone's like, it's heaving, right? It's people stood up in the doorways. You can't get in the toilet and all that. There's not going to be any chair knocking about. You know, walking through, and anyway, I see this one empty chair sort of in front of me, right? I think, oh, why ain't anyone sat there, right? I'll just rush to that, get to that, get myself a seat, plonk myself down, right, and sort of turn round, you know, see who I'm facing, you know, see who you're sort of having a chat with. Little fella there, right? Little, well, Down syndrome kid,
Right.
sat there, and he goes, all right.
Carl about to go ahead and send us all to hell. Hold on. Let's get our composure, because this is... Okay.
With little fella there, right? Little, well, Down syndrome kid,
Right.
sat there, and he goes, all right. And I thought, oh, right, not bad, but do you know what I mean? They're always talking, aren't they? They ask a lot of questions, right? So I was like, oh, here we go, 2.5 hours, and I couldn't get up because the thing is, that's obvious,
Sure.
right? So that's like mean. I never want to be mean. Do you know what I mean?
No.
At the end of the day. So anyway. So I think, I know, I'll go to sleep.
Clever.
Right, so I shut my eyes, and he leaves me alone and that. So then, my phone goes, and I think, right, what do? Do I ignore it? Or do I open my eyes and see what it is? Anyway, I open my eyes, it's Ricky calling, about something. About nothing, probably, actually, thinking, right, it wasn't even worth answering, right? So anyway, but I'm awake now, aren't I? So he's like, hello? And I'm like, alright, mate. And he says, you're muscly.
Wait.
The XFM show.
You know what's crazy about that story? I was dropping my daughter off this morning, literally this morning. We on the bus. We on the 93 bus. We sit behind this lady. She was decent. She was looking good. She was all in my daughter's face, and I'm like, "Hey, did you want a stepmom application or not?" Anyway, so she was sitting next to this dude, and he was like joining into the conversation, and I was looking at him like. Cause I could feel something in the air. You know what I'm saying? Now, he was a little. What's the politically correct word of him? He was not up to par mentally. Is that what he? I don't know the word I'm trying to look for. He was a little SLO. Yeah, he was slower than normal. And he kept looking back, and I'm like, all right, whatever, cool, you know. You know what I'm saying? So I get off the bus. She take a picture with my daughter. I'm like, cool. You know what I'm saying? So when I see you next time, you know what I'm saying, exchange your little digits or whatever. My daughter speaks Spanish, so we going to get it done. So I walk to the train because I got to take the train like one stop. So I go on the train stop, and he all the way at the end. And I sit in my normal little spot. And I see him. I peep. I'm looking at my daughter because, you know, I don't like to be talked to. Do not like to be talked to in the morning by anyone. So I'm looking at my daughter, and she's looking at the phone. She's watching, I don't know, Miss Rachel or something. And I could see him out the peripheral of my vision, walking up slowly. And I'm like... And I had this same conundrum that Carl had. Like, should I act like I'm watching a thing with my daughter and like start talking to my daughter, or should I acknowledge, bro? And I'm like, I don't want to be an a-hole. So he come up, I guess I look at him and he waved to my daughter, and she look at him like how I'm looking at him, like, yes. She look at him and then look back down at her phone. I'm like, damn, I wish I could do that. But I'm like, nah, she just into her show right now. He's like, yeah, you remember me from the bus? I'm like, yep, sure do. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? And then he like, yeah, just going to work. And I'm like, For sure. Yeah, this is Miami. He like just going to work. And I'm like, yeah, we going to school. I'm taking her to school. And then he just stand there. And I slowly, you know what I'm saying, look down at my daughter and look at the phone with her. And then he stands there literally until the train comes. And then I get in a different door because I didn't want to be rude or anything. Because I don't want to fake the funk. But the point is, like, I just literally went through the same thing. Almost. And my daughter got away, but I couldn't. You know?
Continued over the next 4 years. The genuine approach made a refreshing change from the typical phony manner of a radio host. It provided a chance to hear people openly discuss their thoughts and opinions in a relaxed atmosphere without any fear of offending anyone's sensibilities. The 92 episodes survived due to the fanaticism of the fan base, with the bootleg recordings compiled on YouTube gathering thousands of views, appearing more popular than ever over 20 years since they were first broadcast. The last XFM show with the trio was broadcast in 2005, with work schedules becoming too hectic to keep up with a regular radio show. As Karl's star began to rise after his much-acclaimed success on the radio, closer to home his older brother Mark was struggling. In an almost tragicomic contrast between the two siblings, his brother became the focal point of a documentary exploring the hardships of finding employment.
I remember that.
Right, well the bottom line is that
I watched this.
I need to know where you are at all times,
Yep.
same as I do with everyone in here.
Right.
And you have to conform, I'll just take you off the programme.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah, you are an adult, you've been in the army, you've got self-discipline, you know where you stand, and you now know where I stand.
Okay.
Right? And you should have been job searching like the people who read the newspapers were job searching in the newspapers. A4E cannot help you, and Job Centre cannot help you if you don't put the effort in. Need I say any more on the subject?
No, that's it. Understood.
Right,
Apologies.
you're the adult. Conform and act like an adult.
Fucking telling you. Debbie, I hate this. I fucking hate it.
It's unknown if Mark ever did find stable employment, but on February 10th, 2017, he passed away suddenly.
Oh, wow. I forgot he passed away. R.I.P., man.
Karl has never publicly commented on his brother's death. Ricky and Steve would return from filming extras and managed to convince a reluctant Karl to start a podcast in the same vein as the XFM shows.
It was this bloke who was a builder.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you know what builders are like. They sort of move about, don't they, from sort of building to building, just building.
Well, yeah, well, once they've built it, the building's done and they move on to build some more.
Building to building, just building, yeah.
So he goes to his next job and that, right?
Who does, the builder?
The builder.
Yep.
He goes to, like, the boss.
new building.
The boss of this building, who's building it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And he says what
Ricky
to him?
Do you need anything building?
Okay.
Right.
At this time, podcasts were in their infancy. The Ricky Gervais Show was consistently ranked #1 in the world, appearing in the 2006 edition of Guinness World Records as the most downloaded podcast.
Damn. Hey, Ricky was ahead of his time. He was a genius at this. I didn't know that.
Karl's career continued on the ascendancy, writing several books of his unique musings.
That's really what it be taking, though, man. All you need is one person to believe in you and see something in you and take you on a journey, and then it's up. Like, look at Ricky and Karl. Like, it was up from there. Of course, like, Karl's path and the choices he made led him there. But, like, he seen something in him, and he took it under his wing and blew him up.
At this time, during interviews, Ricky would always tout Karl as the funniest man he'd ever met, and admitted it was his ambition to ensure Karl's success by creating opportunities for him to be seen by larger audiences. Inspired by fan animations on YouTube, Ricky then took the idea of the animated conversations to television, launching on HBO and Channel 4 in 2010.
If anybody watching this, do y'all know what episode of this we ended on? Because we need to pick it back up. I just can't remember what episode we ended on.
And bringing Karl to global audiences. Continuing his mission to drag Karl into stardom, Ricky created An Idiot Abroad, a travel series with a difference. Each series would focus mainly on Karl's...
This is one of the best things I ever watched, man. Y'all used to love when I watched this.
Blunt and humorous reactions to cultural differences.
This cat's cross-eyed. I've never seen that before.
Karl's first proper acting part came in the comedy drama Derek, written and starring Ricky as a 50-year-old man with learning difficulties, Derek Noakes, a care worker at Broad Hill, a home for the elderly. Karl would play Dougie, the home's caretaker. In 2018,
Derek, I ain't never heard of that.
Karl was offered the chance to write his own sitcom for Sky One. Sick of It is a comedy drama where Karl stars as both lead characters, playing his namesake Karl and the voice inside his head that takes the form of his doppelganger. At 50 years old, Karl's career shows no signs of slowing down. He's now a million miles away from the bleak council estate in Manchester. What do you imagine he thinks about when he's looking out from his seaside mansion into the horizon?
Mrs. Matthews said I'd never be a high flyer.
How wrong was she? Yeah. Well, I think we should call Mrs. Matthews and make her eat her words.
Oh, that's it? It was okay. It could be better. Well, a lot of it was just filmed from the Ricky Gervais show, but, salute. TLO, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post. I'm gone.